In evaluating its capital expenditure, Diamond Chemicals includes 4 different categories, which are new product market, product or market extension, engineering efficiency, and safety for environment. The Merseyside project falls under engineering efficiency. Since it is categorized as an engineering efficiency, it must adhere to a few requirements. The first one is the impact on earnings per share for engineering efficiency project must be positive. According to the Greystock analysis, the average annual addition to earnings per share in this capital expenditure is 0.018, which means positive. Secondly, the duration of payback for free cash flow in the project to amortize the initial project outlay completely. The maximum payback period for an engineering efficiency project is 6 years. As the earnings per share meets its requirements, so does the payback period. The payback period stated in Greystock analysis is 3.6 years. The third one is the discounted cash flow. The initial investment outlay should be more than the present value of the future cash flow of the project. The net present value of free cash flow must be positive. In the Greystock analysis, the net present value shows a positive value, which is at 9 million. Last but not least is the internal rate of return. For an engineering efficiency project, the internal rate of return must be greater than 10%. The Greystock's analysis found that the internal rate of return for Merseyside project is 25.9%, which is way higher than the required internal rate of return.
What we saw just now was how does Diamond Chemicals evaluate its capital expenditure proposals. And now what we are going to see is why such a complicated scheme. The company decided such complicated scheme might be to ensure the quality. They will face difficulty in finding new project, but they will be safe. On the other hand, employees at the facility will be aware of what the management is trying to achieve with these steps. This indicates that such individuals will attempt to enhance the suggested measures until they appear to be up to par. With such a complicated scheme in place, it will be more challenging to enhance all of these measures without focusing on other project related factors. A better project will result automatically. As a result, it will be challenging to identify project weaknesses. Thank you.
The citation does pre-merit to the capital expenditure proposal. It is because the transport division is part of the same company as the Merseyside plant, and the cost of additional rolling stock is incremental to taking the project. Next, for question 4, the question is about what is the transport division citation and did it have any merit? The transport division suggests that the cost of 10 car with each GBP 2 million should be included in the initial outlay of the Merseyside capital program. It is because the transport division has to increase its allocation of 10 cars to Merseyside due to project with increased crowd foot. Although doing so will accelerate 2005-2003 the need to purchase new rolling stock to support the anticipated growth of the firm in other areas. The rolling stock will have a trafficable life of 10 years, but with proper maintenance, the car will operate much longer.
Hello everyone, my name is Rosita Lewi. My number matrix BB221101169. I will continue with question 3. What is the director of sales suggestion? Does it have merit? First, what the issues are in director of sales? Director of sales has determined that the current market environment is very competitive and the predicted output is unlikely to be met. So, what can be done by director of sales? The lower cost output may entice companies away from peers, needing no adjustment to meet the project's capacity output. The cons from director of sales is cannibalization is a valid problem. There is insufficient knowledge and too much uncertainty to include in the discounted cash flow. So, how about the merit? It has a better merit, but still, it is not really in a good standing. First, it might give them a head start in reducing costs, but it is not a guarantee. The idea is that the cost of cannibalization should not be considered. Second, the sector is experiencing an economic slowdown, which will result in overstock of manufacturing, forcing management to switch capacity from the Rotterdam facility to Merseyside. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, so today I'm gonna introduce myself. First, my name is Penny Leming. I am from section 4 and my matrix number is BB22110594. Today I will explain my selected question, which is question 4. Why did the assistant plant manager offer his suggested change, and does it have any merit? First of all, let me explain the definition of assistant plant manager, where this job is supervise processes and staff to meet specified plant production goals on time and at specified quality, including supervise the employees during day-to-day tasks and managing the overall workflow of a workplace. So the question is, why he offered his suggestion is he knew the Diamond Company is the largest supplier of the electronic power control, which is EPC, produced the entire volume at the Merseyside. He also knew the lowest cost of EPC based in the world would improve cash flow by the ad infinitum. So does it have any merit? Griffin was described about the renovation to explain and do an investing, so the company will ready to exploit the market when the recession ends, but his suggestion was ignored by the executive community because he didn't know the result in the end. So that's it. That's all from me. Thank you.
Moving on to the fifth question, that is, what did the analysis from the Treasury staff mean by his comment about inflation? Do you agree with it? Inflation vicissitudes has harmful effects on Merseyside project capital budgeting decision because it affects the expected rate of return. Such expenses can render potentially profitable projects unfeasible. Therefore, as proposed by the Treasury staff, his decision to use discounted rate to project inflows is right, because when integrating inflation in capital budgeting decisions, one has to be mindful of the fact that it influences cash flows and the discount rate, which depicts the cost of capital. The Treasury staff's suggestion takes into account the rate of return in terms of nominal values and real values. Therefore, I strongly agree with the contributions made by an analyst from the Treasury staff, because while projecting cash flows and discount rates, consistency must be maintained throughout. While estimating cash flows for Merseyside project, the stakeholders must be aware of the fact that when estimating cash flows, the future is always uncertain, and what can be expected to be real inflation rate might be more or even less. The company must take into consideration inflation and use a discounted rate of 10%. Historically, inflation rates have ranged between 2 to 3%, and assuming a 0% inflation rate against 7% real target for the Merseyside project would be unrealistic.
Next question is, how should Greystock modify his DCF analysis? I recommend that Greystock should reflect on annual pre-tax charge for all new projects, which is amounting to 3.5% of the value of the initial assets investment of the project. So this project or all new capital projects are expected to lower their operating expenses and should not be required to charge an annual pre-tax. So Greystock should exclude 3.5 pre-tax from the DCF analysis. Besides, Greystock should modify on cash flow and discount rate, where Gowen has pointed out that cash flow and discount rate need to be consistent in their assumptions. 10% nominal target rate of return, 3% per year long-term inflation expectation, 7% target rate of return. So based on the situation, I recommend two options for Greystock to modify his DCF analysis. The first one is either he maintain a 10% discount rate and a 3% inflation rate in cash flows, or maintain the same cash flow without the inflation factor and change discount rate to 7%. Next is the preliminary engineering cost, where £0.5 million of preliminary cost for renovation efficiency was included in the DCF analysis. These costs are expenditures that have already been incurred and cannot be recovered, thus it is irrelevant to current choices according to the with without principle. Only future expenses are relevant in making an investment choices. So I recommend Greystock to exclude £0.5 million of preliminary engineering costs from the DCF analysis. The last one is the transportation investment. The purchase new rolling stock to support the anticipated growth of the firm would cost £2 million was not included in the DCF analysis. The purchase should be reviewed as both cash flow and an expense. Other than that, transport like tank cars increased its allocation to Merseyside due to the project's increased throughput. Since the transport division and Merseyside under one company, so I recommend Greystock to include the £2 million transportation investment and the 10-year depreciation life with proper maintenance.
Hello everyone, my name is Kavidan Ilangovan. My metric number is BB22110499 and I'm from section 4. Today I'm going to discuss about the 7th question of my assignment, that is, what is the worth of Merseyside project for Diamond Chemicals? Okay, we can identify the worth of Merseyside project with some of the criteria. Firstly, the cash flow. When the predicted cash flows for Merseyside projects are discounted by 10%, the present value is $10.11 million, whereas the Rotterdam project has a net present value of $7.34 million. These net present values represent the value that a project will bring to shareholders' wealth if it is carried out. Nextly, I'm going to talk about internal rate of returns, IRR. Okay, Merseyside project expected to give an IRR of 27% and the Rotterdam project expected to yield an IRR of 15%. The maximum return percentage that a project will offer is provided by the IRR. In other words, it specifies the discount rate at which the project's net present value will be zero. Additionally, project's payback period. The Merseyside and the Rotterdam projects, so that they can be compared using the decision criteria set by corporate policy, where the Merseyside project has a payback period of 4.06 years, which means that the initial investment of $9 million and later investment of $2 million will be recovered during the first 4.06 years of the project. The Rotterdam project, on the other hand, has an 8.46 years payback period. Finally, I'm going to talk about the net profit. Merseyside resulting in an annual average increase in earnings per share of $0.02 and Rotterdam resulting in an annual average increase in earnings per share of $0.03. So, in my conclusion, the Merseyside project met all 4 investment criteria. Thank you.